Do you feel sick in your gut and tired of chronic GI symptoms? Or what if you have chronic skin issues, mood changes, and you just struggle with your weight? Well, then you'll want to stay tuned because the key could be in your gut health. If you have poor gut health, you are more likely to have all of those conditions, and optimizing your gut health may improve them. So today I'm going to talk about a functional medicine framework that includes the 5-step approach to getting better gut health. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Dr. Var and welcome to my channel. I'm a board certified family medicine physician and I'm also certified in functional medicine. This is part 1 of a 2-part series, and in this video we will go over the first R, remove. In the next video we'll go over the remaining 4 R's of the 5R framework to repair your gut health. So today we are delving into the 5 key steps to optimize your gut health, and this follows the functional medicine framework of the 5R approach. So as you guessed it, each of the 5 steps begins with an R, so it's easy to remember. So let's get started. So the first step and the first R stands for remove. So this step is crucial because we need to eliminate any factors that are triggering your gut. Think of it like clearing out the weeds in your garden. If you don't clear out the weeds, then the plants and the flowers can't thrive and grow. Similarly, we need to eliminate any factors that are causing inflammation or disturbing the gut microbiome so that your gut can have optimal healing. What are the things that we need to remove? Number 1, we want to remove pathogenic infections. Now, a pathogenic infection is caused by a bacteria that is not supposed to be along your GI tract. So this is different than bacteria that's like in your normal gut microbiome. There have been many times where I have tested patients through a standard conventional medicine stool test to check for infections, and I could not find anything because they only check for common food poisoning bugs like Salmonella, Shigella, Campylobacter, and E. coli. But there have been many times where I do a functional medicine gut health test and I might find some other bacteria, parasites, or fungal infections that are causing disruptions and infections in their gut, and we take care of it and they do instantly feel better. The second thing we want to remove is something called SIBO, IMO, or SIFO. SIBO and IMO is when there's an overgrowth of a bacteria or other organism that usually is part of our normal flora. However, we want our normal flora in our large intestine. We don't want it to overgrow in our small intestine because then it competes with our own digestive process and it can cause a lot of bloating and gas, and that gets trapped in the small intestine and can cause a lot of inflammation and can disrupt your digestive enzymes and even your gut microbiome. Now, if you want to learn more about SIBO and IMO, I do have a separate video on that, so be sure to check that out. SIFO stands for small intestinal fungal overgrowth, and this is also something you can get checked for through a functional medicine test. But if you have SIFO, then you'll have to be treated with an anti-candida diet and also possibly a prescription or botanical antifungal. The third thing you want to remove are dietary triggers. If you have any food allergies, food sensitivities, or food intolerances, you want to get rid of those because those cause inflammation. Typically, if you have a food sensitivity, we have you do an elimination diet for at least 6 weeks, sometimes longer. So make sure you get with your functional medicine provider to see if you have any food allergies, sensitivities, or intolerances, and if you do, to come up with a plan to try to eliminate those for a while. You also want to eliminate any processed foods that include processed flours or added sugars. These are very inflammatory for the gut. They disrupt your gut microbiome and they allow harmful bacteria to overgrow in your microbiome instead of encouraging the more beneficial bugs. Avoiding processed foods can definitely help you greatly to reduce your inflammation. The third thing you want to eliminate are toxins. There are a lot of toxins that are in our foods, our water, our personal care products that we don't even realize we're being exposed to. And it's not so much the amount of toxins that you're exposed to. I mean, you want to minimize your exposure, but it also depends on how well you're detoxifying. You want to make sure your detoxification is good because one person could be exposed to a small amount of toxins and have a problem because their detoxification is not the greatest, whereas another person might be exposed to more toxins, but if their detoxification is good, then it may not cause them as much harm. But as you're in this gut healing phase, I would definitely try to minimize toxins as much as you can by eating organic food, by sweating regularly, whether it's through exercise or sauna, and sweating is a way to detox. You also want to get plenty of fruits and vegetables that have antioxidants that help your detoxification process. And you also want to be choosy about your personal care products and try to avoid certain harmful ingredients that are in them. A lot of the ingredients can be something called an endocrine disruptor. You also want to make sure you're not drinking tap water. There are so many things in our water, you would be surprised. If you go to www.ewg.org, you can put in your zip code and you can see all the chemicals that are in your water supply. You want to make sure you have a good water filter if you do drink tap water, or you could buy purified or distilled water. Now the problem with that is they usually come in plastic bottles, so when you get them, you want to pour them into like a big glass container, so that way you can minimize the amount of time that's in the plastic. Of course, it's impossible to avoid every single toxin, but you do what you can to minimize your exposure. The reason you want to avoid toxins is because they cause inflammation. They also can kill the beneficial organisms in your normal flora or gut microbiome, allowing more harmful ones to overgrow. Now, the fourth thing you want to remove with your healthcare provider approval and guidance is that you may want to eliminate certain medications. Common medications that can be disruptive to your gut health are antibiotics, NSAIDs such as ibuprofen or naproxen, and also proton pump inhibitors. They can all negatively affect your gut health. So work with your healthcare provider if they can try to reduce the dose but still watch you to make sure you don't have any side effects or problems going down on the dose or going off your medicine, and perhaps they can find an alternative as well. All right, number 5 is you want to remove stress. Chronic stress increases cortisol and leads to chronically elevated cortisol. When you have high cortisol, it can increase your risk for inflammation in your gut, which then can cause intestinal permeability or leaky gut. And if you want to know more about leaky gut, I have a video on that you can watch. But it can also disrupt your digestive enzymes and giving you problems digesting your foods. And it can also disrupt your microbiome. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Stay tuned for part 2 coming next week, where we will go over the remaining 4 R's of the functional medicine 5R approach to healing your gut. Have a fantastic day.